Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello again.
Yes. Second week in a row.
Second week in a row. We're doing it. Doing the thing.
Back. We're back.
Yes. Back in the saddle. Feels good.
It does.
It's become my Friday ritual at this point, so it's good to do it.
Yeah, I like it. This is the first thing I do when I wake up. We're recording in the mornings now, so it's good.
Yeah. So I have not been on Twitter basically at all.
I saw you posted something earlier in the week like, hey, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I'm like a bit of an anxious individual. I'm prone to getting some anxiety. And I just found that like Twitter was like too good at like dropping tweets in my timeline that were just like anxiety producing bait. And I'd be like, oh man, this thread's going to be horrifying. And I would click into it and go, yep, now I feel terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. I should do something similar. I've been a bit more on Twitter lately, which is not, I can't say it's healthy. Like I've been getting all my news from there, which I feel like some of that is, information that I want to see, like what's the mayor of my city announcing and stuff like that. But I should be getting it somewhere else because it's way too real time, I think.
Yes. There's just not actionable info coming out at the pace that Twitter dumps new stuff at me. Like it's not like I need to know about everything I'm seeing there immediately, and it's not like I can do anything about almost any of it. And so I just realized I just kept having this experience of flipping over to Twitter for like a break and coming away from it feeling worse. And I was like, this is just not helping me. So I set up this Chrome extension, which is called Go Fucking Work, which lets you block sites. And then when you try to go to them, it like yells at you with profanity, which I appreciate. So I blocked Twitter there. And I also just have not been like consuming news. It's like I don't listen to podcasts about, the news thing or like New York Times or any of that stuff. I basically have like told friends and family, like if there's a thing that you think I need to know, let me know, because I'm not going to plug into this for a while. It's been good. I think honestly, it has really helped me manage my stress levels because it was not going that great before, and I was having like sleepless nights and just like being really worried and anxious. And it was like, okay, this is actually not helping. So I needed to make some changes, and so that has like really made a noticeable difference to me in my mental health right now. So
that's good. Yeah,
recommended, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably good. I mean, I found overall this last week, I'm just finding it hard to focus in general, and I think a lot of people are. And in many ways, life has gotten simpler right now. Like I don't have any social things on my calendar really, so it should be easier to go heads down, maybe. I don't know. But instead, I kind of feel like I'm in this constant state of alertness or something. And it's probably largely a function of my own kind of way I'm consuming information.
Yeah. That alertness word rings true. It's like you're firing these chemicals, which are like, there's danger, I need to respond. And like, you have this like, response physically, and it's like, you can't, it's not a lion chasing you. It's so you just have to stew in those things, and there's no resolution. Yeah. So I've been like donating money to causes that are going to try to help, and trying to basically disconnect from the rest of it. And that is my current strategy. And also just trying to focus on work. Just like having a productive outlet has been really good lately because I have a thing to pour myself into. So that's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah. I've been trying to pour my efforts into places where I think I can hopefully move the ball forward in this really uncertain time. So I kind of touched on it last week that I'm kind of in the process of doing some interviews back to kind of customer development phase for some new ideas, and had some of those already on the calendar for this week, and all of those stayed on. So they were just kind of sprinkled throughout the week, and in between I've been kind of playing around with some positioning, some like what could the product roadmap look like for this thing that I'm thinking about building, and trying to just refine in my head what this could look like and adjust as new information comes my way. And thinking about like timing of when's the right time to actually like put some ink down on virtual paper and throw a landing page out there to start gauging broader interest. My big question is like how much completely unbiased interview data is enough before I go ahead and do that. Because once I do that, I know it's crossing a threshold into the territory of now people can see what I'm thinking and getting like unbiased information. You can't anymore once they've seen that, like, or you can, but it's different, right? It's just colored by that. So
yeah, that's an interesting challenge.
yeah.
It's probably tough, but I hope you're sort of being gentle with yourself, and like I hope everyone is, because like we're all under stress that's unusual, and like I think we're all going to be less productive, and that's like we should try to not beat ourselves up about it.
Yeah. I've tried to do that this week, and it's been, I mean, yeah, I've been in this kind of state of like unprofitability for a little while with my business, you know. There's always been kind of a low grade stress around that to a certain degree. I have to often come back and remind myself, like, this is deliberately the phase that you're in right now. This is the nature of early stage startups, and kind of coach myself back through that. And I've definitely done a bit more of that this week than other weeks and I kind of have to take stock of the fact that despite being in this phase for a long time, still in a really fortunate position. I know some small business owners who right now are like, you know, they have a brick and mortar coffee shop, one of them, and he's had to temporarily lay off all his staff. Well, he kind of serves to-go orders, and I think he's still doing okay, relatively speaking. Like, so I can't imagine what my mental state would be if I had to like worry about, you know, laying off staff, and like he's worried about the production being able to get his raw beans to roast, and that's a big part of their business. And it's like, my gosh, these are existential business concerns, and I fortunately don't have those right now. So I, you know, try to keep things in perspective, I guess.
Totally. Yeah. I've been doing the morning journal stuff, which includes like what are you grateful for? And it's a good exercise to like sort of cut through all the stress and be like, okay, what is good right now?
Yeah.
I feel for people whose businesses are affected, who did nothing wrong, you know, and could barely have predicted this, and are not just struggling bad now.
Yep. Maybe a silver lining to come out of this is just like, this is the time for all entrepreneurial minds to get really creative. Like we need unprecedented levels of creativity right now and ingenuity to make it through this. And I think you're already seeing people kind of stepping up, doing creative things. I mean, like I think across all sectors, public and private, we need a lot of creativity. I think, it kickstarts those types of things for sure when a crisis happens.
I also feel like it's time to like support each other and to just be more compassionate towards other people. Like if you're a landlord and giving somebody a break on their rent, or, you know, just tipping like crazy if you do get takeout or something, and just like recognizing that like there's just such a huge swath of hurt happening, but like we can all kind of help make it a little bit better by just being great to each other right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will put a plug in for this thing. There's this organization called Give Directly. I think they're givedirectly.org. They've basically been running really large scale direct cash transfer experiments, sort of as like a, hey, does this like basic income thing work? So they like have been going to like Kenya and like places that have extreme poverty and setting up payments, like direct cash transfers to people for a couple of years now. And they decided to launch a US effort to target people. They said, it looks like the federal government is going to do something, but it's probably going to be not quite enough, and it's probably going to be pretty slow. And we are experts in this, so we decided to spin up a program to help people. So like they are able to get a list of people that are on SNAP, which I think is like food assistance support. And so they're like raising money now to start doing these things because they're great at this. And so they're going to do like, contactless cash transfers for people who most need it, which sort of boils down to, especially like it's going to be a lot of single mothers in particular. So I've been donating to them, and if other people are interested, if you're able, I think it's a good time to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Yep, that's the kind of stuff that ingenuity working.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and using the skills we have to help people.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So you want to talk about work?
Yeah, let's talk about work. I mean, I mostly gave my update. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully in, I don't know. I don't want to say a specific date, but because it's still super fuzzy in my mind. That. Yeah, it's fuzzy in my mind, and with all this uncertainty. But I would like to get kind of this thing I'm working on out of the shadows a little bit. I think that would help me to ship something. and get kind of a broader conversation started. But I'm just trying to gauge when the right time is for that. So stay tuned.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I'll switch gears. So I tried this thing called FocusMate this week, which was I tweeted I feel like I need someone to sit down with me and make me do my to-do list kind of thing. Someone was like, "Oh, you should try this out," and it's a video call that you schedule. I showed up, and the guy, some other person I've never met, showed up, and he was like, "Hey, what are you working on?" And I was like, "I'm gonna clean out all my inboxes and do my weekly review." And he was like, "Cool. I'm gonna try to write 200 words for my book." And I was like, "Great." And he was like, "Good luck." And then we both muted ourselves and just went to work. And I kept the video up just to kind of remind me what I was doing. And then I did through my thing, and then the session wrapped up, and he was like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "Good. I'm almost done." And he's like, "I got a little distracted by this, but I came back to this and whatever." And I was like, "All right, cool. Have a good one." And that was that. So I think it actually did help because the session was, I think, 50 minutes or something like around those. And I had, quite a bit of digging out to do. So I got a huge chunk of it done. And it was great. It felt good.
Is this similar to, remember that, was it a work gym or something?
Yeah, ultra working. It is like that, but less structured. So it's sort of similar, but it's basically you're doing work with other people. Their thing is a group with a moderator, and they have more structure where they have a spreadsheet, which is okay, what are you going to do in this next 40-minute block? And it's more planning, more check-ins, that kind of thing. And their thing was great too. Both those have been effective for me. But yeah, just wanted to report that in case that interests people. The first 3 things I think on FocusMate are free, so you can give it a shot and see if you like it.
That's cool. Do you see yourself using it sporadically or more frequently, or what do you?
Yeah, I think sporadically. I think for me, it's probably best on things that I don't really want to do. I find that the inbox or the weekly review in particular, part of getting things done, to be a bit annoying and boring. So it's all right, well, if I just declare that's my intention to someone and they sit there and they're sort of giving me some accountability, maybe that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. If I can take a slight detour, how do you go about planning your schedule, or how heavily scheduled are you on any given week?
All of my Calendly links only book on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I try to only schedule stuff, except for this podcast, on those days. Usually my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are basically clear. And Tuesday, Thursdays can sometimes be kind of Swiss cheese with calls and things. This last Thursday was definitely that. I was a guest on a podcast, and I had a sales call, and then I had a check-in call with another CEO that was just kind of a mastermind kind of thing. So it depends. I'm not super intentional besides just blocking off Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. Are your Tuesdays and Thursdays pretty wide open for booking, or do you cluster them in particular time?
I basically block off lunch. So I think it's I'm available 10 to noon, and then 1 to 3 or 4, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are these usually customer calls, sales calls? What are your typical types of calls that you're doing on those days?
It is a mix. Thursday, like I said, was interview in the morning on a podcast, call with just a friend to catch up, call with a CEO to kind of mastermind, and then a sales call. That was Thursday. Tuesday was just one call, and that was a sales call as well. Yeah.
Do you get other stuff done on those days, or are things kind of chopped up a bit to the point where you can't really get it?
Yeah, if it gets above 1 or 2 calls, then it's the day is harder to get substantial work done. But the work I'm doing now is more interrupt friendly. So it's not so much coding, it's often more sales stuff, which is kind of being responsive and doing a short thing and then waiting for them to get back to me. So it's not terrible. It definitely affects my productivity. It's harder to really get in the groove, but it's not super bad. So speaking of sales, I've been getting more into it. There's a lot of big companies that suddenly are now oh gosh, we're working from home. How do we work from home? And so we've gotten a lot more interested in people that want the enterprise plan and want the sales process and all that. The kind of cool thing about that is that I'm getting more at bats right now. And I feel it's letting me get better at the process. So I'm starting to learn what is normal and what do they expect? And how do I say certain things in a way that they go, yep, and they nod, and okay, yeah, that's what we expected. And it's oh yeah, sales is a skill like everything else, duh, turns out.
Yep.
And so by getting to do it more, I'm getting to learn it, but also just I'm getting to screw stuff up and then realize I screwed it up. And then the next lead comes in, I'm oh, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
So that has been kind of nice, and I've been enjoying this process. Like I love learning a new thing, so this is like kind of fun. And I've also just adjusted my mindset a bit, where like the engineer in me and the spoiled baby in me like wants the world to be like perfectly efficient and wants me to not have to do annoying things. And I'm starting to just kind of like suck it up and be like, you know what? It's dumb that I have a security page and your security audit asks me a bunch of the questions that are already on there, but like it's only going to take me 15 minutes to fill this thing out. And so I'm just filling it out sometimes, or actually a lot of the time now, because it's just like they have a process. I can fight against the process and it will take longer and it's less likely to happen. Or I can just be like, well, this is dumb, but whatever. There's dollar signs at the end of it and it'll get this deal done.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and it's hopefully temporary where you have to do that work, and eventually you will be able to delegate that, right, to a teammate who that's kind of their job. It's just service that inefficiency that exists in a transaction.
Totally. Yeah, we've been talking about that, and I think that could conceivably be a person we hire soonish. I'm kind of enjoying like understanding the process now. Like I feel like once I know the ropes and I have a pretty repeatable process and, canned answers for things and just kind of know how to do this, I think it'll be much easier to sort of plug a person into that who can hopefully elevate us, but at least I'll have like a sense of like what you probably should be doing and like how do you answer these questions and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the mindset shift I think has been the biggest part, where it's just like, this is not so bad. Just do it. It's fine. And we raised our minimum on the enterprise plan. Like you have to buy 20 seats now. So I was like, okay, it's going to be worth it if they want this time wise. And yeah, it's an interesting, it's kind of a fun game to be learning right now.
Have you had like a sales call recently that like just did not go well at all?
None have been super bad, although I had a challenging one yesterday where a fairly large, we have this customer that has like seen a lot of expansion and they're now at like hundreds of developers. And then like the person that purchases software for the company like reached out to me. It's like, I want to schedule a call. And I was like, great. And then he also invited 3 other people. So it was me and 4 people from this company. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I should have brought my posse. I feel a little outgunned here.
Yep.
And in fact, I gave them the link to this whereby room and we filled it up. It turns out you can only have 4 people on the free plan, which I have never bumped into before. And then it was like, they're saying like, oh, like John can't join the room. He says it's full. And I was like, oh yeah. I forgot there was a limit here. I've never done a call with so many people.
That's funny.
So we had to go use Hangouts or whatever it was. It was a little tough because they were basically kind of trying to like beat me up a little bit on price and how we bill and all that. That was kind of the closest to like a direct negotiation where they're like, well, we want this. And I'm like, well, it kind of doesn't work for me, actually. And they're like, well, we're going to have to see if we can get the money for that. And I'm like, well, yeah, I understand that. That seems like a thing you're going to have to do. I think I'm getting a little bit better at those calls as well. I haven't had to do that many negotiations in my life, so getting practice there also helps. Just like, how do you approach it and what do you say? And yeah, so it wasn't too painful, but it was definitely kind of the most like, all right, we're here to wrangle with you. And I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times when I talk to salespeople, it feels like they're often kind of like playing a game of chess, sort of, where you're like trying to see the moving pieces and anticipate things. Like, do you feel like you're in that mode when you're in one of these calls, or is it more straightforward for you, where you're like, here's the thing and here's the price and
It's not super straightforward because there's a lot of things you can vary. So like one thing I'm realizing is that a super standard part of this process is contract negotiation. And so it's like, whose document do we start with? And then what changes can we get away with? And in this document is all kinds of things, like how does it auto-renew, who has rights, who's liable, but also like the price and the numbers. So it's like you can tweak everything in this document to try to come to some, conclusion together. And it's like, what things are deal breakers for us and what are deal breakers for you? And like, what things are you asking for because you think you might get away with it versus it's an essential thing. So there's just like a lot of negotiation to this. So it's I wouldn't say it's straightforward exactly, but at the end of the day, if you're negotiating a contract, it's probably because both sides are trying to make the purchase happen. Like they've decided they basically want it. And now their legal department and our legal department, aka me, are trying to come to some sort of mutually agreeable situation.
Yeah. Have you had to like consult with lawyers at all on these contracts?
I have not consulted with lawyers yet. I have consulted with Google quite a bit. Someone sent us like a 22-page contract the other day, and I was like, wow, okay. Let me get to reading. It's a bit complicated. So it's like, I can understand most of it to like, at like 80% of it at a first pass. There's some things I have to Google to understand, like what's the legal definition of this term? I think I know what that means, but does that really mean what I think it means? And then there's some percentage where it's like, I don't know like what normal people would ask for. Like an expert might look at this document and say, hey, there's no clause about this. You need to get them to agree to this because it's important. And so like I can see all the stuff that's there, but I don't know what's missing.
What's missing? Yeah. That makes sense. Yep.
So I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I'm trying to do a good job. I think the long-term thing here is to have some sort of contracts expert / legal person that we can have do at least a once over on all these. Whether that's the same as the person that's doing the sales stuff, I don't know. But for now, we decided like, okay, I think this is not too risky. I don't think we're doing anything too crazy here. That's been the strategy so far.
These aren't like enormous contracts where you can afford to burn like $500 an hour lawyer time on them necessarily. Like that would seriously eat into your margins. So yeah, sounds reasonable.
But yeah, I think just like getting somebody on retainer and just being like, for each contract, spend an hour and flag to me the 5 most worrying things that I might want to push back on. I can take that and then negotiate with their legal folks. And I know we're not doing something too stupid. So yeah, sales is kind of fun. It's kind of cool. And there's just a lot of tricks like everything else. There's just like a bunch of little skills to pick up. But in other news, we hired a part-time engineer.
Woohoo.
Yeah, we found somebody.
Very nice.
Yeah, and he's okay with me saying who he is, so I'm going to tell you who he is. And his name is Don Goodman Wilson.
Okay.
Which you might recognize because he was on this podcast talking about the real story behind Screen Hero.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So Don was Screen Hero's first engineering hire, and he is also Tuple's first engineering hire.
He has a penchant for screen sharing companies.
Yeah. And, when you look at the skills needed to build an app like ours, they're kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so it would be weird to find someone that had much experience in many of them, unless, of course, they had already built a real-time screen sharing app with remote control in the past.
Wow.
So it was like, well, this is kind of perfect. Mm-hmm. And like we kind of like when we like wrote up our job description, we like almost kind of joked like, we should see if Don can do this or wants to do this. And I was like, oh yeah, actually we definitely should. And I reached out to him and he was like, yeah, this looks cool. We have an extra set of hands now. So he's starting part-time. That's the plan for now. 10 hours a week, mostly pairing with Spencer. But yeah, I'm excited because he's got this experience. He can like level us up in. He's written a lot of cross-platform code, which is really nice for sort of us moving towards like Linux and Windows in the future. So it's just pumped to get a little more bandwidth there.
Yeah, that's cool. So he's on a contract basis, right? Not Correct. A W-2. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. So hopefully that will directly translate into better app faster. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there will be communication overhead, so it's not all gains, but
yeah.
We'll see.
So when does he start?
He starts in about a week.
Okay.
A little more than a week.
And do you feel like you have, I mean, this is your first time like onboarding someone new. Do you feel like you have your process down for that? Or?
No. Although, so Spencer has been making a doc for a little while now where he was sort of like, he's keeping a list on his phone, like, oh, I need to add him to this. Oh, I need to add him to this. I have to add that. And just kind of like coming with a list of like, okay, here are all the things you have to get added to. So he's going to turn that into a Notion doc, and that'll be our like engineer onboarding, template to get started. I realized that like one thing we really should do is sort of come up with like 3-month goals, 6-month goals kind of thing. just like after this period of time, it'd be great if you could do this or had done this, and sort of set some explicit expectations. But I think with the pairing focus, it's going to be fairly easy to kind of integrate him. It's like, okay, you're just working with someone that knows the code base and knows what's next and is in constant communication with me. And so I think I'm expecting to be fairly painless.
Because he is remote, right?
He's remote. Yes, exactly. Okay. He's in Amsterdam.
Right. Well, this is a great dog fooding opportunity.
That is one advantage of the remote person.
Yeah. Totally.
It's great when the people writing the code are using the thing. So they can just be like, ooh, that was a bug. Let's fix that right now. It's like, it's the best.
It's great.
Yeah. One last thing is Joel was listening to last podcast and like had some quibbles with how I told the story of our incident. And so I was like, well, do you want to just come on and we can just like, just retell it in all the glory and then maybe do some other talking? And he was like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So I think Spencer, Joel, and I are going to take over Art of Product next week.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can't wait to hear the real story in all the drama.
Yeah. I did sort of forget some details, which is my style. So
you're just the business guy now, Ben.
I know, exactly. I was just busy looking at our metrics, refreshing the bank account. So we'll get to tell that story for realsies, and then also the audience gets to meet Spencer and Joel, who have been, I think, mentioned only in name only for all this time.
I know. Yeah, I can't believe they haven't been on yet.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm bad at stuff. But we will correct it. We'll correct the record and correct this injustice.
Yep.
Yeah. So look for that in your podcast feed. Yeah. All right. So I think that is it for me.
I think I'm all set as well.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up at 30 on the dot then.
Sounds good. Wow, look at that timing.
Show notes.
Show notes can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.